Alright, we're going in completely blind today. Welcome to today's stream. We're going to be doing some things differently today, just because I kind of want to play some Factorio. And Factorio is kind of like the perfect, almost like just chatting game to play. It's also good because I can provide an update on the server stuff. So, which is like the usual weekly update thing. The server is slowly growing in complexity, and we're slowly getting to the point where it's getting way too fucking complicated to figure out what's like going on. And this is not a problem of the people on the server, this is a problem of the game. In multiplayer, it's significantly worse, but even in single player, you actually run into this issue very, very often where it's really, really hard to know what's going on because of all the things that are out there. You might come back the next day and you have no clue what's like happening. And that's just the reality of how the game works, which is a bit fascinating to sort of see. So it's definitely very interesting to play. Especially in a multiplayer context, seeing those problems, it's been fascinating to see the game take on a form of like tech debt and I guess like tangled code that you would kind of see in normal code bases. What's interesting though is that the game has a concept of space, which is very, very different from programming. I think the only real analogy for what this usage of space feels like is really actually probably closer to the amount of code in terms of how many files are split across and how many things happen in your files as compared to like circuit boards, right? Because in that way, what you have is this giant system, this giant effectively source code file that has like 1 million lines that does all kinds of different things at all kinds of different places. And there's no easy way to know what is a separate thing and what's together, because everything is sort of embroiled with each other. So you get a very, very complex problem that doesn't really have a good solution. It's just kind of like, you just have to deal with the fact that like things are just here. And there's no easy way to know when something isn't there. And because of that, there's no easy way to determine, okay, well, will XYZ thing impact ABC thing? Because even looking at this, right? Zooming it out, it's hard to tell exactly where the divisions end and where they begin, almost. You can kind of get spaces of it here, but even then, something like this has a whole supply chain that it depends on. And so it reminds me, I mean, it is a logistics game. So again, I guess it reminds me of the same logistics problems of like those downstream effects that we don't really think about. Like a semiconductor company could run out of money, or just, have supply chain issues. And all of a sudden, cars are impacted. Phones are impacted. I mean, phones make sense, but cars, that doesn't really make sense. Intuitively, it doesn't make sense. That's because intuition is often a term used to insert foreknowledge. Sorry, it's a term that's typically used in place of foreknowledge, when in reality, the intuition, you can't intuit this. It's either you have the foreknowledge that works, or you don't. So it's a bit fascinating to sort of see all this go down. Now, what's interesting is that this is only going to get worse. But at the same time, it feels like there's a way to make it better, too. I think me and another chatter were playing with this last night. This idea of making everything kind of its own isolated beast. So for instance, you go all the way from from an input of some kind all the way to some kind of output. The problem is that at some level, everything needs like an input from something else. So everything slowly ladders up into something, right? And really, what you kind of want are layers to your factory. What I'm starting to realize is that maybe we need to think about this as a layered approach. I mean, to be fair, we don't really have much of a choice on this map. This map is kind of infested if you think about it. But basically, what you'd ideally want is a layer for each type of resource. So you might have a layer that spans infinitely horizontally for one type of resource, then another for another type of some resource, right? And you do that for each and every single thing that you need to make, such that you can effectively go up or down the stack, and you go from simple to complex. The problem then is what happens when you deal with these interdependencies of things, but let's ignore the problem, we just sort of deal with it. But yeah, welcome to today's stream. It'll be a bit of Factorio for like 1-2 hours, and then we're going to go on to Infra, because that game is really, really good. I'm starting late today, because we woke up late, because I played Factorio 2 long last night. But then we had something to do in the morning too, so we had to go. In terms of last time when we did this recap, actually, there's been a lot of different changes. One, yeah, the factory's definitely grown in size. So we have roboports now. They don't really they don't really work yet because we still need the final research. The problem is that we don't have any yellow science, so we need to figure out how to make yellow science. The other problem too is that our train system is very complected. It's for instance, every train handles like 5 different resources. The problem there is that if they handle 5 different resources, the throughput of any particular resource is actually constrained by the slowest one. It's a bit like having 5 different runners, and you tie every runner's foot to another runner's foot. It doesn't matter if you have Usain Bolt in your party, if I'm on the team, because Usain Bolt has to run at my speed. He can't carry me through. So no matter what, you go towards your slowest speed, right? Unless you build very complex conditions, in which case we run into another issue, which is like this train stop that I added. It was mostly a test, but it was good to see sort of like how this stuff ladders up. Train conditions are very, very poor for everything except for cargo. Even in cargo, the and/or conditions are evaluated very strangely, but that's because weight conditions are kind of weight conditions aren't really a weight condition. It's more of an inverse of what you expect from a weight condition. But also B, circuits are very, very difficult to maintain and sort of like understand for other people. And this is the problem that I knew was going to happen, right? And it's sort of like why, again, the server has a community wiki up. The community wiki is primarily designed so that we can communicate decisions like this. Especially for the circuitry logic, because this stuff gets very, very complicated the more you go with it. There's a lot of very interesting bits to it that make it difficult to understand. And even then, there's a higher level decision of like that we need to document of like, why is this rail like line here? If you weren't here last night, you would have no clue what this rail line is for. And I actually see the problem here, right? If you're a new player and you get dropped in and you just spawn over here, you have no clue what the hell is going on. Which means you have no clue where you can best start helping out. Which means you have no clue whether or not what you're doing is going to break something or make something worse, and whether or not anything that you do is going to have to be remade anyways. There's no easy way for us to communicate this knowledge. And right now the knowledge is actually not even siloed in my head. It's siloed in two other chatties' heads. So we're gonna need to think about, like, it's long term, a lot about how to really communicate this stuff well. And it sort of reminds me of the endless debates on writing code without any comments. And I always found that to be funny because you can't write code without comments. I think you need to have comments at some point to explain a lot of the whys behind what you're doing and a high level understanding of what you're attempting to do as well. For instance, again, the high level of why this is being split into its own thing versus this one over here and why is it stopping here. It's important to know these things because right now there is no understanding of what this is for. It just kind of exists and it's just kind of there, but it doesn't really make sense why it's there compared to there. Like they're two separate things. So there's a lot of different things that we need to sort of like shore up on this server if we want more people to join and actually have fun with the experience. I recognize this as a failing of sort of like my initial rule set for it. I should have been much more strict about forcing everybody to really, really like hone in on documenting why they do certain things. However, now that the wiki is up, we actually do have the opportunity to do so without, it being too annoying to do. It's still a bit annoying to do. It's a bit like any documentation job. But it's like, if you play by yourself, that's fine. You don't have to document like anything, right? But if you play with a bunch of other people, please, for the love of God, document what you do. So actually, if we go to the wiki now, I need to sign into the wiki. And the wiki is also very annoying too. But setting up MediaWiki has been one hell of a painful process. It's not the worst thing ever, but it's also like a 20-year-old PHP system. So it's like it's not just any 20-year-old PHP system. It's a 20-year-old open source PHP system. So you get sort of the worst of every world, which isn't to say that it's like bad to be open source, but being open source invites a very particular type of problem, which is you have way too many cooks in the kitchen. And with that many cooks in the kitchen, you end up in this space where there's too many things going on. So today is actually an exercise for us in order for me to go over the server, document what the hell is going on, and figure out what the hell we're planning to do. For instance, what's the point of all these solar panel ghosts? And why is it laid out in this particular way? What is the relationship between the layout here versus the layout in some other way? Presumably, the logic is that because this outputs 60, and each of these can handle 300. Well, actually, that still doesn't make sense. What? During daytime, max output 60, and then during nighttime, these have a max energy capacity of 5 megajoules. And I guess how long is daytime and nighttime? Factorial daytime cycle. But yeah, in-game seconds, 25,000 ticks. Or 416 seconds. So if this thing outputs that many watts per second, 60 times 416, 25,000. That's half the amount of a single accumulator. Well, that's interesting. We'll figure out the math around that. But even stuff like this, right? Just trying to figure out like what exactly we were thinking of and what the plan was as a whole. It's very hard to know. I've also been a Kanban board, which is weird. I know it's weird that we started like turning this a game almost into like an exercise in work. But I'm realizing that as you play with other people, you kind of need some system to track this stuff. And as much as I hate Agile, it also has one particular thing about it that makes it work really, really well. And okay, don't do activity. Don't do activity. Full cargo activity, or don't do that either. Just wait till full and wait till empty. Yeah, okay, we'll sort of fix that. But when you do anything with other people, the majority of your cost of doing anything with other people is in communication. And effective communication is very, very hard. Because there's two different types, right? And it usually depends on the complexity of the thing itself. There's sort of like the low tier or type of problems where there's not really much complexity to it. You can kind of think about it on the moment, and you can solve it within a single session too. And I don't mean like an 8-hour thinking session. I mean like a single session as in you just think about it right at that moment and you immediately have some solution or at least some decision of some kind, right? The difference there compared to a larger problem like this is that something like this can't be solved in one single go, which means that whatever the solution is far out of reach of what the problem initially was. This is a problem. This is a solution for a problem that is far out of reach that needs you to understand why this, and then why this, and why this. It also needs you to understand, incidentally, why this stuff too, right? Because if you're gonna think about this stuff and changing this, you would then might want to think about changing this, which then requires you to think about changing this. There's no clear delineations of like when the problem stops and like ends. And this is sort of the thing that you need to get to is like, when you play with other people, you need to make those delineations yourself. They don't really kind of pop up on their own. I found this to be true for pretty much every single thing that I've ever made with somebody else. Is that if you don't make these delineations yourself right from the get-go, you end up in this swamp where it's like, I don't know what's going on. For instance, why is there no fuel for these? I don't know. Where's the problem? I don't know. Why is it happening like this? Is it a bug or is that intentional? I don't know. But let's see if I can fix it, okay? Let's see if I can trace the line. Thankfully, belts are very easy to understand. Yeah, logistics bots and trains are very less understandable, but we'll get to that problem afterwards. So presumably, if I look at this, this is pulling the iron ore, so this must pull the coal, right? Well, if I follow the line, there's no coal anywhere. Why is there no coal? I don't know. If I look over here, for instance, why does this go this way? Well, it's going upwards, and it keeps going upwards, and it goes all the way upwards, and it goes over here, and it swings back down here, and it goes into this line. Well, a whole separate line. So what happens here? Well, I don't know. So what is supposed to be filling up this line then? Or rather, how does it ever come into this line, which is for these burners? Well, let's follow this entire train. Do you see what I mean? Like it gets, and then you go over here and it's like, wait, it stops. So how do you actually fill this line in the middle ever? Well, that's a problem. Maybe you don't. And it seems like we don't. Because it seems like, and again, this is not a problem of the people who made it. It's just a problem of the circumstances of this entire system. If you do one thing, it affects multiple pieces of a larger problem. So for instance, I think what another chatter said was, Well, actually, I don't know what they said. They didn't say anything. But there was something about reversing a coal line somewhere. I think somebody reversed the coal lines. Like maybe there's in the game that logs. I don't know. But something about this. Oh yes, they mentioned it last night. So this is the problem. You weren't here last night on the server. You wouldn't even know. But last night they reversed the line because they realized that they needed to just bring things through. The problem is that when they reversed it, they effectively cut this line off entirely. Which means that there's a whole different problem here, right? Because then, what is this coal used for, and what is all this stuff used for? Well, I don't know. Is the coal meant to be a fuel source? What's the thinking behind coal? I don't know. I don't know how to encode that. How do you encode these decisions behind how things are routed? Because it's one thing to route something, it's another to understand why it's being done in this way. For instance, why is the plastic and the sulfur being put on the same line? These two are effectively building two different things. So why is it that one single line is carrying both? I don't know. And then where's the coal going if not over there? Ooh, I don't know. Apparently comes from a train too. Yeah, it just comes from a train. Which is weird then, because then it's like, what happens here? So where's the fuel going? Well, if you follow the line back up, it seems like the fuel for all the different things are coming from solid fuel. But then it's like, okay, well, why is it not going through? There's like too many different like moving pieces here that don't really have any good solutions. And it's far too complex for us to understand everything that's going on. And even here, what's the point of the boiler here? What does this do? Pee pee poo poo. Thank you for your insightful input. But we're getting to the point where where the factory is getting very, very unknowable. There's too many things going on. And so realizing that and recognize that we probably need a better solution overall. One that doesn't involve trying to trace these entire lines and figuring out what's going on, but actual diagrams. And this is going to be very, very annoying for most players on the server. 100%. But at this point, it's like you either do that or you run into issues like this where it's like, where do I even begin diagnosing this entire problem? And you see how long it takes me too? I'm not playing the game. Well, I'm playing the game to some extent, but I'm not playing the game. I'm effectively just looking at a line and figuring out where the problem is. I liken it a lot to most debugging tools. You really don't want your debugging process to be any harder than somebody just looking at a stack trace and going exactly to where the line is, and basically understanding everything from the error message itself. Why are there bricks on the floor? It's sort of why Rust is surprisingly good at what it does. It's very easy to work with Rust and just look at an error message and know exactly what you did wrong. Hell, it even gives you tips of like, okay, what you should do differently. And that's a very different, I guess, like state of mind compared to, well, like this. This feels like a very, very complex piece of work. It's not to say it's a bad thing, but it's definitely very, very complicated, to say the least. Knowing that, recognize that there's a couple of things going on here. One, well, I mean, we know about the information problem, but also two, we have no easy way to debug this because there's no easy way to trace these quickly. I looked into mods for this. There's no mods to look at a belt the way that you would look at a pipe. Factorio 2.0 apparently has the ability to examine pipes and inspect them very, very carefully later on as a whole unit. But right now, there's no such thing for belts, which means if you want to know what a belt transports, there's no way to. I mean, you could do anything. It's just a stream of information in and out. It's effectively like a socket. You have one end that pulls in data, you have another that pulls out data, and you have the stream itself, which could be anything. It could have anything. And you run into this issue where like there's just too much stuff going on, and you're kind of just stuck here forever. But yeah, we're gonna see how this goes. We're gonna see if we can fix this slowly. And I think there's one major problem that we do need to deal with, which is not enough. Why is it doing this? You see what I mean? Like, what was the decision making behind this? I don't. Right? Like, there's some small, like, there's so many different small things that make you go, like, why did we do this? But it's like, do I change this? I don't know what this is for. Is there a problem where we don't want to use too much fuel? I don't know. Because none of it is communicated. But at least as far as I see it, this is doing nothing but introducing a delay for no reason. So maybe we just get rid of that whole thing. I don't know why that's happening. But there's also, it could be a problem where nobody intended that. And it was just an accident due to a refactoring. In which case, you're also kind of boned. If a refactoring can cause you to have that issue, then there's nothing that you can do to solve this issue ever. You're always going to run into some issue somewhere where you always break something as part of what you do. Which is fine. Like, breakages are expected, right? But how do you minimize them? And how do you understand the downstream effects such that you can know where the problems will occur? You can't. You simply do it and you wait to see where the problems start to rise up. And by then it's too late because the entire system is down. There's too many moving pieces. So for instance here, I need copper plates to make another oil refinery because the production of these things is being hampered by the fact that there are no resources coming in. And in fact, this one has no resources coming in at all, so I don't even know what it's doing, really. And the pump really... so we realized that the pump doesn't really filter either. Nor does it really increase the speed of things. So now we're kind of stuck here, where I don't know what the point of this system is and why it looks like this or why it does this. Nor do I understand why the pipes are so complicated the way that they are in terms of the layout. Do we want to use the heavy oil? I don't know. Is that why we cut out the heavy oil? It seems like we do want to use it. But then how come this one doesn't use the light oil? And where is the light oil going, actually? Going to one single machine. Which means we need more refineries, but we also need to fix that as well. But again, we're kind of stuck because we have no plates. and then look at this. How come it can't reach? Well, the reason why I can't reach is because for some reason... Why did we change this? I don't know. Like, now we have two different lines, and these long arms can't reach. So it's like, what happened here? Like, there's so many different problems going on that I don't know what to do. We have too many things going on, and we have no clue what to do. And we're kind of doomed the way that we are right now. Sorry, that was your cat. Your cat is significantly smarter than you. I'm just kidding. Kidding. But we're going to take some time to detangle this mess. Then I'm going to document everything. And we're going to see how it goes, okay? So we have a couple of issues. I'm just going to keep a running log of all these issues. And I'm just going to add them as tasks to a giant Kanban board because it's I'm going to forget all of these. It's very, very important too. And we're just going to have a bunch of tags for these too. Because it's I really don't know what to do. To make it any more manageable. Also, if I'm correct, this should work. Oh, it's just really small. It's really small. Okay. Well, also, I know my name on this board is Eat Shit, but I was really annoyed I was just annoyed that they wanted all of my information. So it's my actual email and stuff, but it's just Eat Shit. I was just annoyed. Look, we just need to track all this shit. Okay. Okay. Fix the copper burner outputs. Is there a way to immediately make this like a label? Yeah, there we go. Red. The bug. Oh my god, create new label. Oh my god, yes. Wait, there we go. Oh my god, yes. Oh my god, yes. Maybe Kanban is a good... Maybe this is a good tool. Maybe this is a good tool. Wait a minute, I could have just updated that. Fuck. There we go. Fine. So that's a bug. Fix copper burner outputs. Can they put an image in here? Actually, I have no clue. I have no clue if I can actually do an image. Where is it? Because I'm gonna forget where too. What the fuck? Why is it going inside of a chest instead and not on the line? What? Okay, we have a couple things. This is Zelda. This is Zelda. The long arm of copper does not go into the belt that feeds the rest of the system. Copper. I'm also gonna update the rules of the server. You must use these tools because otherwise I'm gonna go fucking crazy managing this. I'm gonna go fucking insane. Okay, so now we need to do this one. There's this thing over here There's like one thing over here. Actually, did you see the new Zelda game? There's a new Zelda game out. It's I was meaning to play it, but I just haven't had time. I'm gonna play it probably in November, TBH. At this moment, it's kind of like hard to like do. So, fix copper burner outputs. Fuck it, I'll just do it all in this one. The long arm of the copper belt does not feed into the rest of the system copper. This chest is eating all of our copper from one burner. Just put it into... We should aim to put it into the line instead. Is there any other issues here? Like, is there anything else that's like really, really wrong? Because, again, I won't be able to do all of this in like one go. So we're gonna have to like slowly figure this stuff out. And then everyone has to be aware of what's like happening and also issues that they find. Because otherwise, when we leave, there's like no way to know. Let's see, we got this, we got that. Okay, these seem to work. So now it's just a field. Okay, so we just need more solid fuel production doesn't keep up with rest of factory fuel needs. Coal need documentation on coal line versus fuel line purposes. Hello gamers, hello chat. Right now, it isn't clear why we have a separate coal line versus a solid fuel line when they're both able to be burnt to make things hot. We need to really write down why we're doing these higher level decisions. Making chatters into real workers. You know what? I just had a whole rant about this, and I'm not gonna go over it again. I just want you to know that if you ever work with other people, or if you ever do anything with other people, it's kind of the problem that you kind of have to. The one game that avoids this successfully actually is Minecraft. Because in Minecraft, like, you could do things automatically, but like for the most part, everything's kind of its own thing. There's not really much layers to the logistics madness. Like a lot of Minecraft, for instance, you do like one crafting element, and then you go down maybe 2 or 3 tiers, but there's no major dependencies from something 7 tiers ago, right? It's kind of annoying. Unless it's modded. Yeah, well, I mean, we don't talk about the modded. The modded Minecraft players are far too close to Mr. Beast for me to really want it to talk about them. Anyways, we do that. Fixed copper thing. Solid fuel production doesn't keep up with the rest of the factory needs. Oil refineries aren't producing enough oils in order... Just add a label to this. In order... Plus, again, this is for your benefit. Like, this isn't for me. Because I can just look at this and it's like, I'll figure it out eventually, right? But nobody new can join. Nobody new can join the server and know what to do or what's going on. Nobody new can join the server and know what they have to do. Because it isn't obvious. It is not obvious at all. It is absolutely not obvious at all what's like going on. Like, for instance, why do we have this versus that? Are we going to eventually move to steam turbines? How come we haven't fully gone over it? But also, these things don't generate enough steam, so should we add more boilers? But then it's like, no, wait, our current goal is actually moving to nuclear reactors. But then it's like, how do you tell people that we're moving towards nuclear reactors? It's just, you know, we don't really have a good solution. And then this too, why is there so much uranium inside the chests? Like, what is the point of this? What is the point of all the uranium inside of a chest? I don't know. Because don't we need it for this? And so it's like, what is the output of this? Is this like burnt? Is this like a burnt uranium? I'm not sure. There's a lot of questions to like ask. No mineable resources. Oh god. So yeah, this is not for me. This is for every chatter's benefit when they join the server. The water is no longer green, and I don't know why. I think we solved our pollution issue for some reason. Factorio mod packs for Minecraft and stuff. Can you imagine? Of all the games, okay, so this is my one problem with Satisfactory. The POV of the game makes it look way more annoying than it probably is going to be, or that it should be. Because in Factorio, right? I'm not saying it's like a POV thing, but it provides you a high level view. I can, with enough radars and with the roboports, I can scan the entire factory and basically work off of the map. There's no need for me to have my hand on the mouse 24/7 in order to like move my character's aim around or like walk around and this stuff. I can actually chill out and just do this. And this is a very, very chill experience when you consider that both of them have this issue of it's a logistics game on both ends. Whereas as far as I can tell in Satisfactory, there's no remote building with like robots, and there's no overview map like this where you can actually examine things and inspect things from far away. It seems like it's missing both of those things. And even just missing the robots alone makes me go like, oh god, I really don't want to play the game for a long time. Because at least with Factorio, right? With the robots, I can just do this now. Like, look, I can just do this. I have a roboport. I can just put this down over here, and that little shit goes and gets it and makes it for me. But I'm standing all the way. I'm standing over. Where am I standing? See, I don't even know where I'm standing. I'm standing over here. I'm like a mile away. So I'm gonna play. If I do play Satisfactory, I'm probably gonna play it with the mod, because Satisfactory Plus has a robot remote building mod, which seems a lot more fun to me compared to running around. Because the worst part of Factorio is the wasted time running around. That's not like, because the fun of these games is building the factory. It's not the running around waiting for things to happen. No, it's you solving the problems and getting and like understanding these like things and figuring out all these layout problems with physical space. Yeah, big part of Factorio is exploring. Factorio, no, big. It seems like a big part of Satisfactory is exploring. A big part of Factorio is just finding the resources. But like, the map eventually gets revealed over time, fairly straightforward, right? In a very, very straightforward manner. But I don't really ever need to leave. But Satisfactory, yeah, I think Satisfactory has a much better map. But from what I've heard, it's like a very, very bespoke map, which I like. I actually do enjoy the bespoke nature of the map. I think it overall ends up being a much more interesting experience for a much more casual playthrough. But then the game becomes way more tedious compared to casual. And then you get into the problem of most games of this type where it's not fun to play, it's just tedium at some level. Which is what I'm worried about with Satisfactory. It's like, I really want to try it out. But everything that I read about it, it's like, why would I play it when it feels less streamlined than this? And so there's more tedium, right? The only thing Factorio has against it as a mark is that, you know, I think, was it the lead dev or some of the devs? They said some fairly, let's just say, stupid things. Very stupid things. Very, very stupid things. And so it's like, okay, well, what do you do, right? And then you get into the whole ethical consumption under capitalism thing. It's like, I don't really know if it works. So there's a whole like mess there. But in general, yeah, it doesn't really strike me as a game that I'd want to play long term because of all the mess, basically. Sorry, misspoke. No way, chat. No way, chat. You're just wrong. No, I'm just kidding. Just wrong. Okay, so for instance, this. What is this doing? I don't know. I actually don't understand why this is doing this. Like, basically, I don't know anything that's like going on. But and this is the problem, right? If you don't know what's going on and then you change it, then this chatter is not going to know what's like going on too. And then this chatter isn't going to undo my work because there's no shared context about what's like going on. So oil refineries aren't producing enough oils in the solid fuel section of our base. We don't really have sections or anything yet. So just imagine. So just look for the oil up tag on the map to find this. We don't really have defined or planned or even systemized sections or anything yet. So just look for this. A couple things to do. remove the pumps. We learned they do nothing. Since liquids move at infinite speed. Move infinitely. And then this needs an update on 2.0. So it's like, then, you know what I mean? Like, there's a bunch of... yeah, 2.0. So now you need this, and now you need the 2.0 update. And it's like, okay, so now you need a 2.0 update. But it's a bug that needs to be fixed now. So it's like, you know... refinery... Not enough refineries for our needs. Someone typed, chat, you're here. Oh, thank God. Chat, I am enforcing that you must join the Trello as well as the wiki. We need to put a stop to this. We need to figure out what's going on this. Wait, let me type it inside the Discord as well. I am enforcing that we need to use the wiki and the Trello board to capture and document why we do things. It is now incomprehensible for me, which means new chatters who want to join will never join because they'll feel deflated by their inability to do anything. So yeah, so now we need this. We got this. None of refineries for our needs. Need more of them to produce more oils and I don't know what that thing is called. What's that thing called? More oils and what's it called? What's that resource called? I don't know what this is. Petroleum and petroleum. I love crude oil. Petroleum. Cool. I'm doing this now. All right. We're gonna tackle this. Also, it's probably good too because these things need to be drained anyway. So let's see if these can be drained. So let's get rid of all of this because we need to move these. The tanks don't do anything. The solid tanks really don't do much, except for maybe add a bit of like extra juice to things. But in general, it doesn't. Like it doesn't really. When you need it, it doesn't really change much about your flow. Even if you don't need it, it doesn't really do much beyond that. Because it's like, it's going to get full and then consumed anyways if the input-output isn't perfect, so... Does it really matter? Not sure. Oh, shit. See, now there's a problem. There's too many pipes. Hey, chat. How are you? Nice to see you, and hope that you're doing well. This chatter posts a lot of really cool, interesting photos of, like, nature. Basically, they're the whole reason why we get to see the outside world. Because usually we don't get to see the outside world. And so they post pictures of like really pretty, really good nature, like photos. And then it gives us the opportunity to like be outside. Because we don't really go outside in this chat. But welcome. And I hope that you're doing well. So where's this going? And so this one needs that to make that. This one needs this to make lubricant. So, wait a minute. So is this the line for lubricant or is this the line for coal? I don't know. And if this is the line for lubricant, how come it's not coming out? Well, it's because it goes through pipes. So why did this have an inserter? It's because this was for solid fuel at some point. But then we decided to redo it. We need to put a rule on that too of like, if we redo it, we need to think about the downstream effects of like what this impacts in terms of our design. Because I don't know why this is connected to certain things then. But it makes sense why the heavy fuel is here now. The heavy fuel is specifically for that stuff. Except it can also be used for solid fuel. So maybe we use it for both. I'm not really sure. Because otherwise, heavy fuel will never, or heavy oil will never be consumed fully. So what do we do? If it can't be consumed fully, and there's no way for it to consume fully, then eventually this tank will be full, and then the production of this thing will get way too full. And it won't be able to output because there's too much heavy oil at some point. So maybe we don't do this. Maybe we need to figure out how's it going. So the lubricant is going all the way to the top side, which we need for the robots. Which again, no clue what this is used for, but you just need it somewhere. So how do we do this? The key thing is how do we document this? How do we document this stuff in a way that's easy for chatters to do, but also allows us to communicate ideas all the way through? How do we do this? Because that's the main crux of the issue. And also this too. How do we prevent these issues where these things happen, but the pipes get like stuck? Well, either way, I think we need to move lubricant somewhere else. I just logically, because the worst part about this too is that it's not really a problem that we can solve by itself, because the game doesn't really provide you with like a UI for this, right? This is the one thing that's very different about Factorio versus code. In code, it's very clear in code when something is happening. But within Factorio, because the UI is missing it in different places, we have an incomplete view of the state of things. It's why I enjoy the use of negative space, to provide like a buffer to know what to do else. But the thing is that we needed the lubricant, so this is a fine solution. Like, it's a fine solution, but now we need to move it. So maybe we move the lubricant up here, like, because realistically, the less distance, the less pipes there are in this particular place, the easier it becomes to do things. Pipes in general can't mix, so it's probably better if we have a single pipe for certain things, or a single pipe nest for certain things versus others, right? Because pipes for petroleum, gas, and pipes for light oil, and pipes for heavy oil means that you need 3 distinct piping networks, because they can't mix. And if you do mix them, then it doesn't really work, right? Or like you can't mix them ever. Okay. So actually, for now, leave that. Actually, no, we don't really need it yet, I think. And even this, something like this visually is very hard to parse. When I look at this, I go, wait, how come it's not like, isn't this going to like break? And like, should this actually be a part of this? And because this is making solid fuel, shouldn't it be like this? It's very hard to parse. So I think what we need to do is this. 1, we're gonna have to drain this like oil. We're gonna have to drain all this oil and just figure it out. But 2, we're gonna move this lube all the way up top, because I don't know if we should do it down here. We have a lot of different concerns at the moment. Problem is I need to follow this entire line of piping. Here, something here. Like right around here is perfect. Yes, right around here. So now we have an oil refinery. And again, that's not to say that any of this is bad. It's just the unfortunate reality that this game is very, very complex, and it has a lot of whatchamacallit, similarities to other such domains that have to deal with this stuff. Like a lot of this stuff feels very similar to programming, if not basically one-to-one in terms of like the complexities and this idea, because your source code is your layout. So you run into the exact same issues of like really dense code that doesn't feel readable. And you also run into the same issues of like the output is not tied to the input, which is like the layouts that you make are not immediately understandable in terms of why you made them. The decision-making process is entirely divorced from the artifact. And unlike programming, because there are programming languages that attempt to solve this, I think it's what's that thing called? It's a programming style where you write in human sentences. And so what happens is that as you go through the process of doing things, because it's in human sentences, you're able to read it as if it's like a series of like guidelines of what to do, and so you know what to do. Here, you don't really have that luxury, because everything is based on factories. So none of this is bad. I just recognize that we're gonna have a growing need eventually, and that like no new chatter is gonna be able to join. Like not a single new chatter is gonna be able to join and know what the hell is going on. And that's bad. Cue dramatic music. Cue dramatic music. Because ultimately, you know, all of this is for the sake of multiple players being able to play the game, right? It's designed such that we can have people playing this game and everyone has fun with it. But we need to be able to do this in a way that feels good. Also, we have way too many of these wires. Oh god. Well, at least the wires are easier to deal with. They're like very localized. Which is interesting too. It's a bit of an interesting problem to have, where it's like, you want people to play the game, but you also need to figure out how to do it in a way that respects everyone's time and attention. It's like, what do you do? But you never want to play a game where you started late, but that's just you. Well, yeah, that's just you. That's like saying, I don't like water because it's wet. But that's just me. It's like, you know, that's like cool and all, but that's not the thing that I'm getting at, right? If you were the only opinion out there, I wouldn't have to care. But the truth is, some people do want to play these things, even if they start late, because they want to be a part of something. And so it's unfortunately my responsibility to make sure that everyone can play the game. So basically what I'm saying is, I appreciate your input, but I don't know how to respond to that, because it feels like, what do I say? Oh god, this thing needs water too. Oh Jesus. So where's the water coming from? What? You don't need to respond. Oh. Well, yeah, but like... But then why would you type it? I always wonder this, actually. I always wonder this. There's like there's actually a subset of you that just type anything that comes to your mind. And it's like, if you didn't really expect a response, nor did you care for a response, nor was it something that you wanted a response for, why would you say it? Because it was on topic? That's fair. You know what? That's a fair assessment. That's a fair assessment. But was it? I'm just kidding. I mean, it kind of was. I guess. To some degree it was. You want me to not say anything? No. I'm not saying that you shouldn't say anything. What I'm trying to get at is that it's funny the ways that the conversations happen on the Twitch, because it's like two different people. Basically, I'm not making fun of you, chat. Calm the fuck down. I'm making fun of the fact that, like, the way that Twitch works is that you have two different people who want to say their piece in two different ways. So it's like, both parties want to say whatever they want to say, irrespective of what the other person is necessarily saying. And it's funny because it's kind of the way that the platform almost invites that type of behavior, right? Which is not to say that, like, it's not to say that, like, the platform is made for that, but rather that it's just very easy to get into that situation because there's a natural delay, and because what you think is on topic might be different from what I think is on topic. Because even there, that was a great example of, like, how is it on topic, right? Because to me, I don't see it being as on topic. Because for me, I think of this problem more of a, oh, I have to deal with making sure that everyone can play the game and, like, have fun with it. But it's like, even in that sense, it kind of is on topic. You know what I mean? Look, all I'm trying to say is, it's a very complicated problem with no easy solutions, and you can say whatever you want. I just noticed that it was funny that some of you have like a very thin skin. Not to say that, like, not to say that I'm not an asshole, but I'm just trying to point things out here, guys. I'm not saying anything by it. I'm just saying, like, you know, it's funny the ways that we go about things and that we effectively ignore each other. It doesn't mean anything. It just means that we just ignore each other because it's like, it's the way that Twitch works. And there's no easy solution for it. Oh, this is a bad design. You know what it is? I said this last time too. Everybody here is too damaged to have normal conversations with each other. Right? Because it feels like everything is an attack on your psyche. And so it's like, the streamer can't say anything that feels almost like, that feels even close to criticizing some mindset of the swarm that is chat. Because otherwise, chat as a whole takes it as an offense, even if it's just an observation that is more rooted in the semantics of the platform itself. Like, that's the thing that's interesting to me. But it's like, you know, it's hard to talk about it. I'm also realizing maybe we need to flip this around. Problem is that we need the water. Wait, but so this water comes from here. This water comes from here. Why don't we do like this? We realistically should just pop it open from here. That way, there's no need for us to do any crazy routing on this side. Lane, it just works. I can't tell if this is working. A tiny branch or a stick? Yes. Yes, very tiny. Look, I'm just saying, chat, okay? Look, it seems like everyone here is a bit too damaged, and we can't just point things out that are like funny little coincidences of the system that we all reside in without everyone being hurt. So how about this? I will never say anything that encroaches upon some level of mental damage for you, and you'll get a much more sterile experience as a whole. Does that make you happy? Or does that make you sad? Oh shit, maybe I should have gone this way for the power lines. Well, I guess before we couldn't, because before it was just this, but now I'm spending this way. So now we kind of have to. Also, the fuel is going to slowly run out and we're going to die. And I maybe should have thought about that before I did this. Me is happy, as long as we don't have to meet people. Yeah, same. As long as I don't have to meet anyone now. I'm like good. But that's the thing though. I think for some of us, we think differently. Well, I mean, obviously we think differently, but like, for some of us, like, we think very differently. It feels like a whole different world of thought. Because when I hear a statement like that, I don't go, oh no, I'm being like called out or anything. I just go, oh yeah, that is kind of weird that we do this. It's more of like an interesting conversational piece for me than it is like a, oh god, like something's going on. Or like it's like wrong of me to like ask these things, right? Everything you say is just small talk. Nothing that you say needs to be taken seriously or even answered. But that's the thing that's like funny though. See, that's the thing that I'm trying to like get at. It's funny that we do that. Again, we're all too damaged to have a conversation about this. What I'm saying is that it's funny that we do that because think about this. In real life, I don't know if we would do that otherwise. I don't know if we would just say anything for the sake of saying anything. But here, we kind of do because it's like the Twitch experience. But then it's like, what do you as a person say to that? Because, you know, I use real life very, very, very loosely. But even in terms of like just pure streaming side, what do you say to that? What do you do? I don't know. I don't know. So this goes, oh god, this goes here. Oh right, because it has to be placed on these specific sites. Fuck. God, I hate the sighting. This sighting of these is so annoying. And again, me saying the sighting of this is so annoying. Somebody's gonna get like up in arms about it and then be like, well, I tried. But it's like, I'm not saying that, man. What I'm saying is, I hate the fact that Factorio's stupid like thingamabobs get stuck in a weird loop. Yeah, look, I'm just commenting on the fact that it's surprising the ways that we do things in this space that feels completely different from how it would be done in real life, which is weird to even think about. Because again, it's like what does anybody say to like the noise, to like the statements that go nowhere, or the statements that are meant to just be said to the ether? What do you do? Oh, we have to do this. And then we can go, okay. There we go. Then we go, there we go. So this is the petroleum. Well, sorry, the crude oil. We can eat some crude oil here. It's fine. There we go. Then we get this. Okay, so now we get this. I can't move these because they're kind of... This is the problem with storage tanks for water that or for liquids that I'm realizing too. I think liquid storage tanks are probably the worst solution because you can't move them afterwards. And that's a problem when you need to think about the spacing of your stuff afterwards. I don't really want to deal with over a long period of time. You know what we need, chat? All of us? We need an intervention for all of us. We all need to have a conversation. We just need to be okay with each other. Nobody's gonna hurt you here. I don't know what to do this. Fuck it, we just do pipes. We do the petroleum. One line. Then I want to think about it. One line of petroleum. That's all I need. I'm also really enjoying the fact that this game makes good use of the symmetry. With the symmetry, it makes it a lot easier to understand where things are going. Because then you kind of follow the pattern that naturally arises from your operations. Okay, now we just need to put these back down. So we still need lubricant, which is all the way up there. Lubricant needs the heavy oil. So I think for now, we just route the heavy oil all the way up. This is a terrible compromise, but it's fine. But the key is that it has to come from two different places. So this needs to be fully drained. You need to drain the balls of this storage tank. Then you can continue on through the rest of the system. Fuck. This is a massive ball. And then we'll figure out... I'm also realizing that underground pipes are really hard to read too. Because the problem is that you can't trace an underground pipe with just your eyes. You need to trace it with the mouse. Because here, this is the one spot where my eyes go, what the fuck is going on? Or here, this is a great example, here. Like, what is the relationship between these? Or like this, or like that. Well, before it was a bit crazier, because this one had like a different pipe going here into that too. But underground pipes, even though they make it easy for us to walk around, I'm realizing it's just hard to know what's going on. But they're so much more defensible too, so it's like, I don't want to lose them. I just recognize that like this game has no good solutions for liquids. So you're almost always at the mercy of your liquids. But here, this. Like, is it needed for this? No. But it's like, it looks like it is. Anyways, this is good. We have light oils now. So the light oil processing will go over there. I need another chemical processing plant. Well, another oil refinery, actually. So we go like this. Just a shit ton of oil. And we just follow this pattern. And again, the problem is that the pattern is only understandable to me, too. So many different problems. What do we do? Because at some point, this pattern becomes impossible to parse for anyone else. We need like a data scientist or something. Like we need somebody who is able to tell us. We need an architect. If you want to be an architect, please, for the love of God, join the server by going to the Discord. Otherwise, I don't know what the fuck we're going to do. But we need somebody who knows this stuff. Oh god. Man, underground pipes cost a lot too. 50 underground pipes for the equivalent of 5 regular pipes. I guess it makes sense because distance-wise you do cover the 50 with the 5, but it's just painful. Okay, light oil needs to go down to the things, to the... what are they called? Chemical plants. Gotcha. I think we don't use petroleum for them. Because I don't know if we want to complex too many concerns all at once. That might be a bit too complicated. But it also means we can be a lot more compact with this. Because the issue with compactness is that it's scary unless it's all one concern. If it's one concern, it's easy. Because then you can sort of assume the rest of it based on the space. Like if I know, for instance, that these plants will only ever make solid fuel, I can look at these and go, these will only ever make solid fuel. And then it's simple. But if one makes solid fuel and one makes lubricant, it's like, okay, well now I need to understand each and every single one, and it's too many different lines, and it's like, what do we do? Then it gets complicated. What do we do here? I had to make that easier too. I feel like I'm working a full-time job. It's getting more and more complicated to like figure this out. Not that it's like a bad thing, but I'm just realizing that maybe the server was a bad idea. Like it's fun, but it's also a bad idea in terms of I got other things to do for stream. So it's like, what do I do if I had to do all this too? I don't know. Well, not have to, but it's like, if I just leave it to chat alone, I feel bad. Because it's like, I should be contributing to some degree too. Also, this should work. Just to make sure I have the routing correct. Just to make sure. But yeah, sorry, back on the topic of that small talk thing. In general, I always find small talk funny because it's like, what do I even bother saying to it? I always find it difficult to understand what's the point of the small talk. But especially in the streaming context, because it's like a very intentional space. It's hard to know, like, okay, like, is it something that we should be saying to this level, like, or is it necessary for us to like, do all this? I'm not sure. All I know is that it's complicated. Also, this consumes how much? 10 light oil, 2 seconds. So 5 light oil a second. How much does this do? Five seconds, 45 light oil. So every second. Oh my god. Every second, 9 light oil. So each of these, 2 of these, this is a divisor of 20. This is 20. This is 45. 45. We need 45 times 3, 45 times 4. You 4 of these. Every 4 of these can do 9. What? No. Yeah, wait. 180 divided by 20. Yeah, every 4 of these can do 9 of those. Because you kind of need perfect consumption, too. If you don't have perfect consumption, what ends up happening is that some resources wait for other resources. That's a problem. This piping should have been on that side. To be like the middle input, because the output is easier to route. Oh no, the output's even harder to route, actually. Yeah, you know what? We just do it like this. But hopefully I get this done, because it's me doing this makes it ultimately a lot more understandable, I think, for other chatters. Because it's like, even right now, I look at this and I go, okay, well, I can kind of see the flow, except for maybe this. I don't really like the underground pipes, but we have to deal with it, because it's kind of a... At some point, you just kind of have to, because you can't route certain things in, but... At least here, it's like, okay, now I see what each section is like for. This is for the lube, this is for the solid fuel, this is for the thing. It's not all in one thing and I don't have to think about it anymore. Like, I don't have to put thought into thinking about where does this all go. I can just go and use it now. Or I can even go and expand it myself. But even that might not be true. So we'll see if this succeeds at the goals that I have stated, which is making it understandable for everyone here. And if it doesn't, then we'll go back to the drawing board. Okay, and then we gotta do, I don't know, this. This needs to be hooked up. You want 4 to 9. 4 of these to 9 of these. It's a lot of fuel, but at the same time, it makes so that nothing blocks. The heavy oil is the weird one too, because heavy oil, there's 25 over 5. This consumes 20. Fuck. Shit, so 4 of these. Yeah, 4 of these. 4 of these can make 5 of these. Simple. 4, 5, 9. That's the ratio. 4 oil refineries to 5 lube factories to 5 lube plants to 9 solid fuel plants. Simple. And in this way, I think too, we need to sort of split the usage. I think maybe this is only for lube and solid fuel. Because there's other things that require petroleum. Like whatever this thing is. Oh fuck, I forgot about these things. These things need petroleum. But like we have one for plastic, one for sulfur. What do we do? How do we make sense of this? Oh god. My head hurts. I miss when the game was just about trains. Sorry, I miss when the game was just about like belts and like iron ore and stuff. Like, it felt good. We felt accomplished as a whole. Now it's all this mess. Oh shit, wrong way. Almost killed the factory. Almost killed the factory. That was a close one. And this needs to go somewhere. I'm not sure where yet. But I think this works. Yep. Yeah, see that? As soon as you pop it in, it's because there's like a production limit. Okay, so this is all the petroleum gas. That goes up. All the heavy oil needs to come down. All the light oil needs to go inside here. So all the light oil. Light work, no reaction. Whatever the meme was. Light work, no reaction. What's that? And ideally, I mean, it's still kind of annoying because the drills are in the way, but I can now kind of see the flow where things go. I need to zoom in a little bit to see the flow, but I don't need to then trace every single pipe now. I wonder if we only do underground pipes, if we need to. Otherwise, we just do the above ground. Because as annoying as it is to walk inside of the structure, and maybe we just have defined entry and like exits, it's a lot easier to parse. But I don't know if I want to do that, because then it means that we're stuck only doing that. That makes sense. So we had 9 of these. So we have 4 of these. We have 4 of these. Okay, this one's going somewhere. I have no clue where. What? What is this connected to? What? We have 9 of these. We have 4 of these. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah. And these turrets, I don't know what these turrets are for. I don't know what this pipe is for. That's for sulfuric acid, so we need this. Okay. That's a very important pipe. That should be fine. So once we get all these down, we should be good. Son of a gun. Down the space. Well, you know what? We have 2 sides of this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. What? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. What? How many of these do they have? It's just enough space. Perfect. Okay, good. We just need 1 giant substation too. Oops. Do this, do this. It needs pipes? Oh, no. That's just because I'm making it. Okay. Alright, let's see if this pays off. I have no clue if it will. But hopefully this works. Hoping this works to some degree. We've seen a bunch of substations that really cover everything. Then, we just need to do... Oh god, I need to connect this to the line. There we go. You know, every day I wake up and I think like, okay, good, like I'm not really done working, but I'm like far enough away from the working side of things, I don't really need to think about it too much, right? But it's not to say that I don't need to work. Like, I still have to work to some degree, but it's just like I have the opportunity to take some time to myself to think about how I want to work now. And then I go on to play Factorio, and it's like, what's the point of all that I've done? If I'm only just subjecting myself to the same pain, but back at home. And I realize that I'm broken. I'm broken. I simply need it in my life. I simply can't avoid it because I enjoy it to some degree. I can't wait. I can't wait. 25 heavy oil. 4 of these makes 100. So I need 5 of those. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. This should get us infinite or like very, very good flow. This should get us good flow. You know? I hear people talk about like heavy flow or light flow days. I think this is a good flow day. It's a good flow day. And then, you know what? Just fuck these tanks. I'm gonna break these tanks. I'm gonna break these tanks. There's not really much of a point waiting for them. Because consumption of this is also dependent on the downstream. So if any of these block, that's a problem. We need a way to release it. Can you pump things into nothing? How do you empty a tank? I know this seems stupid that you need like a release valve, but you kind of need a release valve. You need to flush heavy oil from this. Wait, can I connect this to a line? Let's just see. If I do this, can I connect this to a line so that it knows when to flush itself if it's full? Oh my god, you can't. Oh, you only read the contents. But you can't flush it automatically. Can you just pump it to the floor? Can you just pump it to the floor? Maybe the solution, because we can't put it on the floor, is we load it up into a train and then we blow up the train. That's one solution. There really is no good solution for water flow control. Why are you getting an error always watching Twitch and have to reload the webpage? Hey Google! My Twitch keeps reloading and I don't know why. What do I do? I'm just kidding. But yeah, I have no clue actually. You're not the only one who's been saying that. And it's fascinating because like the stream settings haven't really changed. The stream settings are the exact same. So whatever it is, it's on Twitch's side, which means I don't know what to do. It's just the unfortunate reality that I have no clue what to do. I think a lot of people think that streamers can do a lot about the connection. But chat, I know my connection. If it gets to Twitch's server fine, that's all I can do. And on my end, if it says that nothing's being missed getting sent to Twitch, there's nothing I can do beyond that. Everything beyond that, it's all up to Twitch. So I would argue that it's Twitch's issue. And so you should blame Twitch for this. But I think there's nothing that any of us can do. Because I've seen this too. Even when I watch streams. I think Twitch's servers are just going wild. And I wonder why that is, but then I look at someone like Queso, who has like, what, 50k viewers. Or Kai Sanat, who has like 500,000 viewers. And like, it kind of makes sense. Yeah, it's not on your end, chat, yeah. And don't turn off your firewall. I think we just have to deal with it. There's like no other way. I think Twitch is just doomed. Twitch is just kind of broken at the moment. Well, not broken, but they're having some issues here and there. Okay, so loot production is not keeping up, which is bad. Because it ultimately means that there's not enough, whatchamacallit, it's not enough coal to consume the entire resource pool. Which means these can't produce because the output's full. Frustrating. It always happens when you get cozy in the couch and have to reach out to the laptop. Yeah, same here. Whenever I'm in, I put my phone on a stand ready to like watch someone, or or I start eating, and almost all the food that I eat is like finger food because I like finger food. And then Twitch says, "Oh, broken. I have to reload." It's like, ah, come on! I just got the eating. Then you have to go wash your hands and get everything ready again. It's a whole mess. I know that pain. It's a pain that I never want to experience ever again. But it always happens. Alright, that actually kind of works out well. It's not the best solution, but kind of cool. Plus, it's not like you can walk here anyways. It's just the reality that this entire pipeline is kind of messed up anyway, so. Oh, oops. Wait, what? There we go. How do you clear a pipe if it has, like, messed up fluids inside? Well, I guess that's how you do it. Is you would do... I guess that's how you use the pump to understand what the contents are. Is you would do like this. And you put the pump down, like here. And then you would do like this. Yeah, and then you would... See? And then you would do... Okay, are you enabled or disabled? And then you could read what it is. And you could even do the output side. Yep. That makes sense. You'll say that my codecs are different from other streamers. Mine says that, but 3 of the streamers you've opened have that. There's nothing I can do about that. There's literally nothing I can do about that. Because whatever codec you get isn't from me. Whatever codec that you get is completely different from whatever Twitch... Like, it completely depends on what Twitch decides to like, give you. There's nothing I get... Like, I have no options. Again, streamers have 0 options on what they could do. The only options that streamers really have is how to encode it to send over the wire, and that's it. As far as I can tell, they just choose whatever they like want. Because even for for AVC, right? For MP4A, I don't think I'm encoding in that. Like, at least I don't think I am. Here, if I look at my encoding, well, I guess it's kind of hard. But I'm going in H264A, which I guess is the MP4A, encoding. But then the problem is that, like, if it is, then the only difference between those two is a version string. So it's like, even then I have no control. Because the only difference between those two is that the container format is just one is bumped up in terms of a version number. Because 2.9 and 2A is a whole different version. So it's like, there's nothing really I can do. You guess Twitch is fucking me. Yeah, like, I don't know. You know what it is? I have the attitude that if I can't do anything about it, there's like no point talking about it. Because it leads to nothing. And it's also not an interesting topic. It's not like talking about, like, I don't know, like somebody go walking on the moon. Somebody walking on the moon, kind of cool. A problem that I can't solve, that I have no solution for, that there's no technical bearing on, like, anything, it's like, I'm kind of, it's whatever about. I'm very, like, eh. Alright. I don't know why there was a small electric pole on the floor, but that worked out. So, we just have to deal with this. I think we just deal with the tanks. I see how you would use the pipes now. I think you would... The way that you would use the pipes to prevent the liquid from flowing into it is you would have... You have to have two pipes. One on one end, one on the other end. You need to read the contents or something. Or you need like a storage tank in between to like read it. It's like what you need is you need pipe and storage tank to then read about what it is. To then do the logic of should you allow this liquid to pass through. Because otherwise you have to drain the entire pipe. But then it's where do you make your connections? And then you run back to the square one problem. To the exact first problem, which is if you make your connections well, does it really matter? Not like you can mix them anyways. Oh, oops. You know, you, you know what it is? I think most people aren't used to a streamer who doesn't give a shit. I think a lot of people are used to streamers. This is something that like I remember someone mentioning too. They were very surprised that I don't give a shit compared to other streamers. Like a lot of other streamers, they really care about, because like I don't care about the like numbers, right? Like you know my like policy. It's. But because of that, whatever anyone says, it's like if I don't want to entertain it, I'm just like, no, I'm good. Like my factory has no walls. No, it's not my factory. It's our factory. This is the chat's factory. This is all of our factories. We're all responsible for this factory. All of us. We do have walls. Just we don't need them here. We have walls everywhere. Actually, we have 4 lines of walls. If chat didn't do 99% of this, I wouldn't be able to. If chat didn't do the 99% of this factory, I wouldn't have been able to do the 1% of this, right? To then make this, to then do this, to make it a lot more clear. Because of chat, I'm able to spend all my time working on a single part of this factory where I just deal with a bunch of water. I'm basically just playing with water. Oh, oops, there's an input and an output. I didn't realize. Well, at least I drained the pipe a little. Now, presumably, if I do this, it should just work. Or does it go into metastasis? It might go into it just metastabilized. Okay, well, it's not really good. Stabilized. Oh. Oh, good. It's working. Okay, it's flowing. Flowing. Okay, good. You can drain my pipe a little, says chat member. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. If I was a woman, all of you wouldn't dare say this stuff. But because I do enjoy it, I allow you all to say this stuff. Kidding, kidding. But in general, this is also like, this is another thing about my stream. This is the only stream this is the only stream where I consistently allow you to all to be creeps towards me. Whereas in any other place, it'd be terrifying. Like my friend, I was telling my friend list because she does streaming, but she does streaming under her real account name. And I was like, "Are you sure you want to do this?" And she's like, "Yeah, why? Like, what's the like problem?" And I'm like, "You know, some people can be like scary, right?" And she's like, "No, it's not that bad, right?" And I showed her like examples, and she's like, "Oh my god, I'm gonna die." And I was like, "I mean, you're not gonna die, but it's kind of scary." Bet. Listen, I'm just aware that, you know, I can't, you know what I mean? Like, just sometimes I'll see some of y'all and I gotta think about what's gonna happen, you know? I gotta realize that, oh god, something's going on. Now, eventually this oil will eventually run out. And it simply won't keep up with demand, but that's fine. And really, we're running out of oil, actually. It's kind of the major problem here. We don't pump enough. We don't pump enough. I died. Like, she's not gonna die, okay? But, like, she's using her real name for things. And I'm like, oh god, like, you're brave. Because, especially for her, I think it was just a very... She just hasn't really been on the internet in that space long enough to know that it can get bad. Not to say that she hasn't been on the internet at all, but she's been very fortunate when I hear about her experiences. Because my wife just had to deal with, well, some crazy things in her friend group involving a friend and some dude online who was, like, grooming them. I was like, oh god. It's like a whole world of difference, right? It's like, oh, Jesus Christ. Like, what do we do? So some people just happen to be in a very, very, like, comfortable position where, you know, you don't really have to deal with a lot of, like, weird issues. Which is nice. But I just had to remind her that, like, you have to be careful about sharing too much information. Not to say that you don't have to... Not to say that you can't share things. But like, when I see somebody like lackadaisically open up like some page that might show their address, I'm like, ooh, you gotta be careful about that one. Or even saying like someone's like full username, and even how to find them on different platforms. It's like, ooh, you gotta be careful about that one. It's not always like, not always sunshine and the roses. We're gonna need some way to this. Can I just pump it out like to the floor? Can I just pump it onto the floor? I want to pump it onto the floor. Yeah, just pump. How do I dump liquids? How do you dump a liquid? Oh god, we have half an hour left, and we haven't even gotten through everything yet. Okay, so I fixed this. So I fixed this, kind of. Increased the amount of refineries and did some work on changing up the layouts a little to make it a little more readable at a glance without mixed concerns. We need more oil. It's actually a pressing matter because our oil efficiency has gotten so low that even 4 oil refineries cannot keep up with our needs. Even 4 oil refineries cannot be provided with enough oil to produce all you need. America moment. Well, time for oil. I'm gonna die. I almost died. Well, time to get some oil. We gotta figure out where's the oil. Problem that I found is that oil never goes below 10%. But oil lowers in efficiency. So these things are pumping all that they can, but they simply cannot pump enough. They just don't pump enough. Oh, right, the petroleum. Well, petroleum gas is consumed instantly. Like, these two alone consume all of our petroleum gas. The liquids are what needs very specific ratios. You know what it is? Oil refineries need specific ratios on the liquids, but not the gas. Gas is infinite. Also, I realized this and this should be coming from up here to make it so that we don't even need these pipes. We can just do an underground pipe going into the thing itself. But going up and down, it's going to be nice and simple. Because as it is, the relationship between this and this is not clear. I can see somebody getting confused here at this moment because I just got confused now. This relationship is weird. POV, I'm watching singles in Freno, and I'm on like season 2, episode 7. And like this relationship is weird. I don't think they're made for each other. I'm gonna leave the oil to someone else. We need more oil. It's a major issue. Okay, so we need to fix the copper burner outputs. This is still kind of in progress, but somebody can just take this. We split the north line kind of into a different one. We need to fill the wiki with starter information on overall plans for the factory, because I have no clue what the fuck is going on. We gotta do this now. This is like a major issue. We gotta do this right away. So what do we need? Well, number one, we need to know about what these future plans are, okay? What is the train line? What is the goal of the train line? Well, I don't know. I have to write it down. What's the goal of the train line? We'll just do like, I don't know, train line. Here. Train line. Goal of the train line is to have the train connect to every other rail line, goal of the train rail line, we currently have two different train rail lines. We want to consolidate them, we want to combine them into one single train rail line in order to simplify the train lines and make use of the existing segmentation that work that we're doing on the lines with our signals. In this way, we'll have a single train rail line that goes across our entire base that allows us to quickly transport ourselves and resources without having to... I mean, yeah, I guess that's just really good. See these tasks for information about what we're planning to do and how we plan to consolidate the two, as well as for information. Note that the rail line going up into the Ontario Science Center. Okay, maybe they'll just into the science, bitch. Son of a bit. Into the science, bitch. Section of the... Does he ever say that in the show? Breaking Bad, science, bitch. Why are people confusing science with science, bitch? Oh, I didn't realize. Jesse, we need to cook. It's like Jesse, we need to cook. He never actually says that. Yeah, science. There we go. Fix it. That's another bug done. Yeah, science section of the factory. Section tagged at the top, at the north end of the base. Will eventually be removed in favor of the line on the left. In order to make train routing easier due to the science stuff being in the way. Here. Okay, cool. So, create commuter transport line for loop network. There we go. So, one was for the junction. Well, I think we need to do that, but for now, combine both train rail lines into one. And then we need to take a screenshot of this. Okay, well, here we go. Let's just... And then I had to then draw this, because I need to show which one is going to die and which one's going to continue. Continue. Dead. Into here. Which means we need signals over here. So we need... You can't see this, sorry, but you will see this soon. I'm trying to draw this so we know where to put all the different signals. The problem is that this is one of them three-way junctions, and a three-way junction means when we run into issues, it needs to be a loop. Without the loop, we get complicated logic. Fuck, we need to make a loop. Oh, fuck. Right now, it looks like this. We want to finish it by removing the red rail line and finishing up the black rail line and connecting it with the above line. Note that until we finish the loop to be one way, the entire train track will have a low but noticeable enough chance to deadlock at this junction, there isn't any way to do the rail signal logic that can automatically resolve this just by sectioning. So we'll either need something like this. I have a link for this. There's a very specific diagram for this, actually. I know it's crazy that there's a specific diagram for it, but there's a very specific diagram for it. We'll either need something. So we'll either need something like this, or we need to finish the other bit on making a giant one-way loop train track. All right. Well, that's a problem for another chatter to do. You see, now we have visibility into issues that are going on. So, for instance, now we know why the copper isn't flowing. But I don't have time to deal with that. I'll be right back. Just a moment. But you can see what progress that we're making here with the Factorio server. That's a lot of progress. We have all this stuff now coming into our server, into our factory. And we're making some good moves, but now we need to go find some oil fields. So it's gonna be fun. We need this 2,000 oil field over here. And even then, eventually it'll run out. Like, you just need to keep going out for more and more resources. So eventually we'll need to figure out what to do. But that's a problem for a chatter for another day. I'm gonna say that this is done on my end, because I'm also got to deal with stuff for stream. But you know what? I'm proud of every chatter that's been doing this so far. I just recognize that I think we need to really solidify this idea of sectioning things out and thinking about how these things lay out, because it's just so hard to parse. I know for sure if somebody wants to join, it's almost too late. And I know for sure that it's not like a chatter's problem, right? But at the same time, because chatters play on it, I have to ask that they do this themselves too, in the sense of making it understandable for everyone here to play with. Because otherwise, no one's going to join, and it's just going to be 3 people playing. And it's not really much of a community server. Hi, Mod, how are you? Oh, sorry, not Mod. We're not, she doesn't have multiple accounts. No, she just has one account. No, yeah, she just has one account. But that's both a problem for me and for other chatters to figure out, right? The key is that we'll figure it out eventually. The problem is that it's going to be very, very painful until we get there. Just by virtue of how this game works. It's going to be a very, very painful circumstance. Sus. Don't worry, she doesn't have multiple accounts. She's just here doing her thing, you know? She's just here doing her thing. It's alright. Sorry, I'm making a diagram at the moment. Just a very quick color-coded diagram so people know what's going on. That's a bad color. Okay, cool. That's a really bad color. So we do like this. There we go. And then we do this. Blue equal refineries. In Comic Sans. I'll use Comic Sans to really seal the deal. You know what's funny, Mod? Because you have multiple accounts, I wonder if I get in a trouble. Because I know that you have multiple accounts, but I know why you use the multiple accounts. It's not the view bot. It's to make it easier for you to manage, like, you watching in different places. Which, it's still a bit crazy to me. I don't know why you don't use one account. But, you know, it's your system, and I respect your system. I just recognize that from Twitch's perspective, they're gonna be like, why does she have multiple accounts? And why is she just watching this, like, particular few grouping of, like, people? Blue oil refineries producing light oil, heavy oil, petroleum gas. You still can't see this, sorry. Just diagramming this out. But it is interesting to play this game and see what's like going on. It's surprising how complicated this task is as a whole. You just wouldn't really expect that. Yellow equal solid fuel production. Uses only light oil. Green equal lubricant production. Uses only heavy oil. And then, okay, there's another one over here, which is the plastic and the sulfur, which we need for science. What color do you get? I used to get like shit brown. I don't know. There's like no other color palette here. You're red. You're red. Problem is that one does one does the other, and I don't know which. It's kind of hard to tell at a glance because there's no icon, so I'll just leave that as a problem for someone else to figure out. You're right, chat? Why solve problems when other people can solve them for you? But then if I apply that, chat's gonna apply that too, and then we're just back at square one. Red equal sulfur plus sulfur is something plus plastic production. Yeah, uses a bunch of things. I don't know what. Yeah, it's good. It's good. It's good. It's good. Maybe I should have not written this on the diagram. I should have written this on the wiki itself. Anyways, I have the image. So it doesn't really matter to me. But at least my bit's done. My job here is done. Well, it wasn't really my job. What I was supposed to do was to go and fix the like... I fixed the trains, but it's also like... I should... I'm supposed to do more, but it takes too long. So, anyways. Oil up. Tag. Section. Tag. Oil up tag. File uploads are disabled. No, they're not. I enabled them. Information on trains and what we... Oh. Uh-huh. And then we need this as well. Oil up. Information on trains and what we plan to do with them. Information on train lines. I'm not trying to get fucking... I'm trying to get a new fucking line, my guy. I want a new line! Placeholder for refinery stuff. Fuck, I need to I need to go into the server. How do you allow file uploads on the MediaWiki? And why is it such a piece of shit? MediaWiki, enable file uploads. Yeah, I don't give a shit about security. Well, the security's on. Settings uploads. The attribute resides in the local... Oh, God. Sorry, chat. Just give me a second. Oh, my God. I need to do my SSH key. You know what it is? The one thing about this that's been interesting has been the infrastructure side. I usually hate infrastructure stuff because it's very, very annoying. But it's been very, very handy to get practice on it because now I know what I'll never suggest. Like, if a company ever says, hey, I think we need a wiki for things, right? I'm just gonna say, go use Jira. It just works. Don't even bother running up your own self-hosting version to save money with MediaWiki. There's no fucking point. Go use something that it works. Pay them $20 a month and you're good. There's no point bothering with all this shit that doesn't really matter. Fuck. Enable API is false. File, where's upload? It's true. It's true. I need to restart the wiki. Scripts.mit. What do you mean MIT? What do you mean MIT? What? Why is MIT writing help docs for MediaWiki? What is this? I'm going insane. If you run into trouble, check out the MediaWiki website or email MIT. What? What? Are they writing support for this for MediaWiki? What's going on? What? Why shouldn't I use what? What? What is this? Why is MIT dealing with this? Why is MIT dealing with this? It's a hosting service for the MIT community that provides several popular web packages such as MediaWiki and WordPress. Oh. That makes sense. That makes sense. It's their internal IT team. Basically, it feels like their internal IT team. That's interesting. I guess it makes sense because, like, it's of all places, it is MIT, so they do need like server farms to host things. But it's funny to know that it exists and it actually kind of like works out well. Well, anyways, that doesn't really help me, so I'll figure this out later. But anyways, thanks for watching. MIT, if you want to know how to run MediaWiki, go to MIT. If you want to know how to join the server, join the Discord. I'm gonna figure out how the fuck to allow file uploads. I don't know what the hell's going on. Podman, just restart this. Podman container. What's the command again? Podman container. Restart this one. Just go. Fix yourself. And I'll see you guys in a bit because I need to go use the washroom. Again, thank you everyone for playing on the Factorio server. I actually do appreciate it, and you're all doing good work. It's just unfortunate that like this is hard. You know what I mean? Like of all the games that we've ever played, this is not an easy game to play. This is a genuinely hard game to play, and it touches upon that very specific problem that you find within programming so often, which is how do you increase visibility into these different systems without complecting the systems anymore and simply making it easier and easier for everyone to understand, because the way that it is now, it's really hard to know what's going on, right? But it's not a problem of the things that the players have done here. It's just the reality of any logistics game in multiplayer. At some point, if you don't make sure everything is understandable, like if your focus is on efficiency and not readability, then you're going to sort of have a very particular type of player that can join the server, which is not any particular player at all, effectively. Because efficiency within these games is efficiency within a set of made-up rules that don't really exist. It's unintuitive. It's almost impossible to know. Like, why do you need sulfur to make science? I don't know. Why do you need batteries to make drones? Well, it kind of makes sense. But then why do you need coal to make uranium? I don't know. Why does it need coal specifically, and why can't you just use like solid fuel? I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. Why do you need water to run these things? Well, why do you need sulfur gas to run these things in the set? Sulfuric acid to mine uranium? I don't know. But all these little decisions that you have to make, it's a result of the game being an unintuitive game. It's intuitive at the logistic level, at the playing the game and making these plans and executing on solving these problems level. But it's not intuitive on a readability level, which is, I think it's the most important aspect for a multiplayer server of this type of game. And I'm realizing that, because at some point we're going to run into these issues no matter what game server we make, right? Say we move on to the SAS Factory, same issues. Say we move on to Minecraft, God forbid, same issues. Say we move on to, I don't know, what's another game server? Any game server is going to run into this issue. So anytime that we run like a game server for like for the entire community, if the focus isn't on readability, we're going to have a drop-off in the community where people just won't want to join. But that's also not really fun for them, right? Because again, some people are fine with that, but other people want to be a part of the experience and like have fun with it. And that's the point of the server. The point of the server is that people are having fun with it. But if the fun causes problems, what do you do? I don't know. Like, readability is such a major concern. So even for this server, I'm starting to rethink my role in the server. And maybe it's more about me almost that like, because the problem is that like I don't want to micromanage either, but it's like at some point I do have to put my foot down to be like, hey, we need to document all of this. Man, running a server is annoying, and it's different from any other server. For a Minecraft server, everyone can fuck off and do their own thing, right? As I said before, it's a very simple game. Like, it's very, very simple for you to do anything. You have some shared systems, but then it's not so complicated that you need something crazy, except for maybe redstone, right? At most, you just need some redstone design to know what the hell's going on. Like some redstone diagram, right? That's simple. Compared to this, how the hell do you go from iron ore to, like, rocket warheads? I don't know. But we'll figure out the solution eventually. I'll figure out some way to make it a lot easier to understand too, but we'll see how long this game will last. Thankfully, the wiki didn't take too long to set up. It was like a day. I just need to fix up the file uploads, and we'll see how it goes. Plus, the wiki is useful for other things too. So, thank you for watching Factorio. This community server is slowly becoming more and more of a headache. But again, it's not because of anything that the chatters are like doing. I'm just realizing that Factorio is a game that requires... You need to have the mental fortitude to play Factorio. You need to be a genius. You need to be willing to dive down into unknown depths, to understand, to even be able to have fun with it. It's pain.